This radio show might make you cry, will probably make you angry, will most assuredly make you laugh, and is guaranteed to make you think. 3-6 Nation Radio, where no topic is too hot, no take is too cold, with Monica Livingston and Sean Parker. 3-6 Nation Radio, in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to 3-6 Nation Radio. I am your host, Monica D. Livingston. We gonna turn it up today, and I am here with my main man,
the main event voice, Sean William Parker. And I would just like to say at this time, thank you for watching 3-6 Nation Radio.
Yes.
For English, press 1. Para continuar en español, prese número 2.
Lord have mercy. Press 3.
How's everybody doing?
I don't know. How is everybody doing? I'm struggling. The struggle is, first off, well, the one good thing is I feel taller than you. Hold on for a second.
Yeah, I did. I lowered my chair. We have new.
Okay, there we go.
We have new chairs.
Yeah.
And they contour our backsides quite nicely.
I hope the budget don't go up, because we have to pay for these chairs. But anyway, I'm glad we have new chairs. They're going to help me work on my core. There's no back to the chairs.
Posture.
You guys can't see that. I'm okay, Sean. I'm struggling a little bit, man. This has been a rough week. All the stuff in the
struggle
news
is real,
terrible
everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, it's I'm ticked off. I'm just gonna go ahead and just say a couple of things real quick. I am ticked off at our president. That would be Donald J. Trump. Yeah, I know. Sick of it. I thought that it was despicable what he did this weekend after Charlottesville, not coming out, not standing with us and standing up against neo-Nazis, the KKK, and the alt-right. And I think it was purposeful. I think he meant to do it that way. And then 2 days it took him to then say some kind of pillow talk to us. It was supposed to make us feel better. It did not. The true colors came out the day later when he acted like a complete 5-year-old, like he is. And I'm I don't care. I'm at the point where I'm
disbanding his CEO council because people are dropping out.
They disbanded. Then he said down a tweet pretending like he disbanded. They disbanded. They said,
exactly.
You know what? You are a plumb fool. We cannot do this anymore with you. We quit. And then he did what he always does, was just go on Twitter and try to pretend like it was his idea. And it was, he didn't need it anymore, want them anymore, or all of that.
And then his new chief of staff gave him specific instructions on what to do in terms of this little press conference he was doing at Trump Tower. Told him, you're just going to, make a statement about this economic policy that you're rolling out,
right,
and then you're going to roll out.
Yeah.
And he starts taking questions, and John Kelly was just over on the side, just befuddled.
Yeah, I saw his facial expressions. He had his head down and he was trying to keep it together. And I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know where we're headed.
Here's the silver lining. There was a poll that was recently conducted, and now 4 out of 10 Americans are in favor of impeachment.
I'm not. Sean, I'm nervous about impeachment because I've always felt that was part of the plan, that they put, you put the shiny toy right in front of you, and that's what everybody pays attention to.
You're saying that the master plan is to put Mike Pence in office?
Absolutely it was. Absolutely it was. Because he's the scary guy. The first guy is the idiot. The second one is the scary one. He's the one that's actually talking about shock therapy for gay people. Like, this guy is, repealing abortion. Like, that is what people should be worried about, is Mike Pence. What they gave us was Donald Trump. They put the clown up front to entertain us, and we're all sitting around reading tweets and stuff, and while he's been meeting them back with the real government and changing things. So, yeah, I mean, let me just try to calm down.
Well, hold on a second.
Okay. Yes.
Hold on a second. We gotta start the clock with you. Ivan's clock.
I'm not gonna take Ivan's spot. I'm not gonna take Ivan's spot.
Ivan is over there cracking up. Like, yeah, do it. You know what? And that's funny.
You made the mistake. You asked me how I was doing.
You know what? Actually,
you thought I was gonna say fine. No. Okay. I'm not fine.
But I actually had a thought today that one day we ought to do like a switch around and have one of us do the rant.
Okay.
And have Ivan sit over here and do, like, maybe have Ivan do the sports update or something.
That would be fun.
Get him down to 1 minute.
That'd be
do
real
sports
funny.
in a minute. I think that would be funny. But Yes, so we're going to talk about that. We have a special guest.
We've got a guest.
today.
This is how upset I was about this whole thing. Is that I reached out to a friend of mine, Tim Zello. He is a minister, but super conservative, and we went to high school together. Remember one of the earlier shows I told you guys that I went to a very conservative Christian private school, and Tim and I were friends and all such, and we've still remained that. I still like to use the title, but you talk about two separate ends. I don't even mean of the coin, because the coin is too close. I mean, we at the end, one, this world and that world.
But see, that's the thing about that. Part of the vexing thing about all of this is that all the rhetoric and everything that we have heard, it's part of, the core of what makes America great is that we're able to express our opinions and have dialogue.
Sure.
But the problem is that the dialogue has ceased to be constructive.
Stuttered.
It's not, it's no longer the days of Tip O'Neill and
Right.
whoever the lead Republican is going over to the Hay Adams, having a brandy
Right.
and a cigar
Yeah.
and working stuff out. Now everything is just so adversarial. People that were on the fringes of society in terms of their opinions and their ideologies, they now feel free to come out and to say whatever they want to say.
Yeah.
And
that is like you were saying, that is one of the good things about this whole thing is that, I guess I was living somewhat in a bubble. I was living like,
I think we all were to a certain,
I have
a little bit
white
idealized.
friends, and like I didn't see color, and everything is fine, and I'm skipping down the street, right? And like I don't get to experience, and maybe it's because where I live, where I'm from, who I hang out with, socioeconomic reasons or whatever, I don't get to experience, what some people get to that are in the same skin color as me. But so I do thank Donald Trump for being a complete idiot, and therefore we can see more idiots come to the forefront, and we can deal with it. So thanks,
Donald Trump
President,
is an idiot.
for that, I guess.
Yep.
Donald Trump is an idiot.
Complete.
Exactly.
Okay, so-
All right. So
but hopefully Tim will help us. So
exactly. We'll get
Tim's going to
Tim
be on
Zello.
here. Tim's got a different of opinion. He voted for Trump. He's not ashamed of that. So I'm not putting his business out there. It's all on his Facebook page. He thinks the statues should remain. And Tim's a good guy. He's a God-fearing guy. So we've been doing this on Facebook, and I said, hey, listen, right now this is not really more. It's less about us arguing and more about trying to take a step
Right.
to heal and try to see. I want somebody to tell me something on the other side that I can shake my head to and go, oh, I see what you're saying. But what I have found is that there are so many people that are on the other side that won't even have this dialogue that you're talking about.
Right.
They won't even come in. They won't even call in. I had a guy yesterday tell me not to send him any more articles at all because he wasn't going to read anything. And I thought, you coward little girl, you big 6'2". Anyway, so big no.
Yep.
Anyway, so
But okay,
we'll
so
see. Tim's going to help us out. Hopefully.
We're gonna.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the train
Give me
conductor
back,
today.
give me back.
We're going to keep it on the rails. We're going to do our 36 Nation News, 36 Nation Sports. We've got Ivan Inspired.
Yep.
We've got whatever.
We've got Dr. Melissa Wobble on
Yes.
that she's going to call in. She is a concussion expert with Inova Sports Medicine and Concussion Center. So
I
we're going
have
to talk to her about NFL and concussions and just sports in general, and especially for parents, what they can do to notice the signs and symptoms and help some of the their young athletes play and get back on the field. So I'm excited about that also.
And I have a feeling that's going to be enough. I think.
I think so.
I don't think we're going to have any other segments other than what we mentioned.
There's no prank
no,
calls.
no prank
calendar.
calls.
We need a
No
calendar right
jokes.
now. Find out what you need to
Calendar,
do this weekend.
exactly.
You on your own.
Go out there.
Okay,
So
protest.
let's jump into a 3-6 Nation News. Here we go.
3-6 Nation News, the DMV's #1 source for the hot topics and current news of the day.
Yep. Hot topics, news of the day, 3-6 Nation News, and we are going to start in Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, the ATL.
In the ATL, and we are
Atlanta.
going to start at the brand new, soon to be opened Mercedes-Benz Stadium, the big dome that they've got down there to replace the Georgia Dome. And they have opened a new restaurant not new to us, but a
Right.
new restaurant in that stadium. They are going to be opening a Chick-fil-A in the stadium. And that's
Okay.
great because a lot of people, except for Monica Livingston, love Chick-fil-A. But no, Monica has good reasons for it. We won't get into that because she's already riled up.
Right, yeah.
But Chick-fil-A is opening a restaurant in the Atlanta Falcons stadium. Great, right? Everybody loves Chick-fil-A.
Absolutely.
So people are going to go to the football games. They're going to get their Chick-fil-A on. They're going to get their chicken sandwiches, get their iced tea, and they just going to rock and roll and watch some good NFL football. Except there's one problem.
I know what it is.
Chick-fil-A is closed on
On
Sunday.
Sundays. Yep.
And the last time I checked, the National Football League played their games on Sunday.
Right. Right.
As a matter of fact, 7 of the 8 Atlanta Falcons home games this year will be played on Sunday. So Chick-fil-A inside the new stadium is only going to be open one time during the NFL season. Now, the Falcons, they get their one chance Thursday, December 7th. So for those of you in Atlanta that want to watch the Falcons, go on Thursday the 7th. That way you can get your little
Get all
chicken
the nuggets
sandwiches
you want just
Right.
that day.
They do have 2 preseason games, Saturday, August 26th and Thursday, August 31st.
Okay.
So they can get their preseason Chick-fil-A on. But knowing that Chick-fil-A, and
Right.
this is my question to you, question in red for Monica, knowing that Chick-fil-A is closed on Sunday
Right.
as a company policy, why did the Georgia World Congress Center Authority, who owns the stadium, and the Atlanta Falcons, who operate the stadium, why did they do that?
Because Chick-fil-A's got a whole lot of money.
Yeah, they do.
And they're charging the rent the same as if they were open on Sunday. And Chick-fil-A doesn't
I meant to
care.
play this underneath because that just is still stupid to me.
Yeah.
Big dummy.
You know, but that's Chick-fil-A. So they probably charge them more for not being open on Sunday. You know how sometimes a place is in like a mall
Right.
and retail establishments, if you don't open on time or you aren't open the same hours as the mall, your rent is actually higher. So who knows? They may be making even more money off of Chick-fil-A actually being closed. But
Right.
I knew Chick-fil-A wasn't gonna, budge. That's their
Yeah.
thing. They it's so fitting that we have a Chick-fil-A story and Tim Zello on today.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But now I'm going to change up
Everybody
on you a
loves
little bit
Chick-fil-A.
because I decided today that we're going to let Monica roll. When she gets on a roll, we're just going to let her roll today.
Nah.
So instead of going back and forth, I'm going to do my second story.
Go for
and then
it.
she's going to do her two and just go.
All right, let's do
All
it,
right?
man.
So the second story, I'd have a little accompanying music. For those of you who might be professional wrestling fans, you know that music. That is the theme song of the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. So, as you all know, Ric Flair in the hospital, and I've got a health update on him. Ric Flair's fiance offered insight into the WWE legend medical woes on Wednesday, confirming that he is currently in critical condition and suffering from multiple organ problems. Wendy Barlow, who has been engaged to the 68-year-old Flair since 2016, updated fans on the star's condition with a Facebook post and revealed that she took him to the hospital on Friday because he was complaining of severe abdominal pains. She said, "I've been unable to talk on the phone without crying and just feel shocked over events. I want everyone to know that he still needs prayers. I've been by his side since Friday and will continue to make sure he's getting the best care possible." Barlow didn't specify which organs were causing trouble.
Okay.
The first report out was that it was heart related, and then Mean Gene Okerlund came out and said that he had colon surgery. I tend to believe Mean Gene over some wrestling dirt sheet. The Nature Boy, his real name Richard Fleer, whose daughter Ashley is also a WWE superstar, ring name Charlotte Flair. He is officially recognized as a 16-time World Heavyweight Champion by the WWE.
Wow.
And is considered by many to be the greatest professional wrestler in history. And just for the record, I do rank him number 1, just ahead of Hulk Hogan, Bruno Sammartino, and Stone Cold Steve
Just
Austin.
above Hulk Hogan.
Just yes,
Okay,
I believe that
okay.
he is. I mean, Hulk Hogan had that era. where
Yes.
he was electric and he was hot.
He was. That was my man.
Right, but I mean, you're talking about wrestling, and Ric Flair. He was the biggest draw for decades through the Carolinas. He was a god in North Carolina.
Wow.
I mean, he could have run for governor of North Carolina.
Right.
and he
Like
would've won.
what's his name?
Like Jesse Ventura.
Jesse.
My question
Break it
for
to
you,
a Slim Jim.
Now, my question for you, and I know the answer because because we did talk about this. Have you ever seen Ric Flair wrestle or cut a
Oh
promo?
yeah. Let me tell you, all the old guys I love Ric Flair.
It's just this new stuff.
Yeah, these new people. A part of the problem, Sean, I guess, was that, I didn't stay following it like you do.
Right, right.
Like somewhere along my 16th, 17th birthday, I realized that chair, slamming upside his head was fake. But
Like a fat Peter Pan, I never grew up. So, okay.
So you said that. I did not say that.
Hey.
For the record, I didn't say that. Right. So, the new people I don't really like. But
Okay.
yeah, I love Ric Flair. I told you, Jimmy's Snuka and
Roddy
Junkyard.
Piper
Rowdy Piper.
Yeah.
I partied with him. He was crazy.
Well, I have a little gift for everybody. Just indulge me for a second.
Go for it.
If anybody out there doesn't know Ric Flair, somebody asks me in a nutshell, who and what is Ric Flair?
Okay.
This is what Ric Flair is.
You see, what I'm going to do for you, my friend, is I'm going to enroll you in a class in inhalation therapy. Because you see, at about the 20-minute mark in Philadelphia, you were like all the girls at the Marriott in room 806 when JJ turned out the
Not room
lights.
806.
The horsemen were all in position. We were all hollering, screaming. We were raising the roof. And all of a sudden, all the girls hollered, "Stop! We can't take anymore." That was you, Nikita. The referee heard you. I heard you. You said, "Nature boy, I can't handle it."
That is quintessential Ric Flair. And Ivan is sitting over here like, what in the name of everything sacred was that?
Right.
That was Ric Flair in his prime, the greatest talker of all time.
Now, how old is he? What did you say?
He's 68.
Okay.
He's 60. I mean, all the older guys, they're getting old.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw an Instagram video of The Rock
Yeah.
yesterday. And mind you, The Rock is like a year older than me.
Okay.
I mean, he grew his beard in. The gray hair, I was like, oh my God, I didn't even recognize him.
Rock's getting ready to run for president.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
by the
he
way,
is.
we do things, and no reason why he shouldn't win. Landslide.
Layeth the smacketh down on the electorate, right?
Why not?
All right, I'm done.
All
You
right.
got your two, rock and roll.
I'm getting text messages here from our two guests, so I'm gonna try to stay short here. I was surprised at this, and then I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm stuck, you guys. I'm stuck. Hang in here with me. So CNN released this information here. There are 917 hate groups in the United States of America. For those of you that aren't just listening to us but are watching, I'm gonna hold this up here to the camera. You can see, you get a perspective here. All those little red dots, that's where they are. So then I started looking through the list, right? And I was like, well, okay, they all have to be really, really, really far away from me. There are 79 hate groups in the DMV. And I threw in Delaware, so 79. Now, what I will say about this is it doesn't need to be that terrible because this all hate groups, right? So if you are
Right.
anti-LGBTQ, I don't know if we have another letter. It's early in the day.
I think that's it.
Okay.
I think that's it.
I
Yeah.
can't keep up. LGBTQ to Z. Okay, right. And if you are black separatist, I didn't know that there was black separatist groups, so I learned something today where, I mean, that's not power, but just that we should, as
Okay.
black people, live alone, be completely separate. I don't know how that would work out. I mean, I don't know if we're ready for that, but
Well,
we got one grocery
called
store that's
PG
at the
County. It's
Inner
called
Harbor,
PG County, isn't
owned
it?
by black people.
Isn't that called PG County?
Is that what it is? Okay.
I live in PG County, so I can talk about it.
Right. If
But
my,
go ahead,
well, then
please.
my mother would want to correct you and say it's Prince George's.
George's.
It's like, do not call it PG County, Sean. I'm gonna tell my
See,
mom
the
on you.
political correctness in this country. I'm sorry. Go ahead. It's not my
Yeah,
time
plenty
for
for
rant.
that
It's
later.
your time.
So I was surprised at that, ticked off by it, but like I said, it's an inclusive of many different groups that maybe some of them I don't even disagree with. But what I thought was so weird is that there's so many KKK groups in the DMV that they can't even stick together. You've got the Ku Klux Klan of Cuckoo, and then you've got the
Cuckoo?
yeah, whatever it said, and then you got the Ku Klux Klan of Kubu. and then Moohoo and Shoo Shoo. So anyway, there's a whole bunch more idiots around than I thought.
I can't with you today.
Just saying, I told you I'm stuck.
Yeah, okay.
So anyway, be careful out there. I would say this has
Please.
me looking at people differently, and that's what I'm worried about, Sean. Like, so I'm hoping that I can get some healing on this whole thing later, because I'm looking at people in the grocery store differently. Somebody got their hair cut. Like Jacob came in here with that haircut off to the side and whatever. I was like, I'll be damned. Wait a minute now, Jacob. No, I'm just kidding. Right.
But I mean,
Jacob to grow his hair out on the side. He could have been in Virginia this weekend.
I knew somebody that said that, they grew up in the South, and they said they much preferred living in the South because at least people that were racist, they would come right out, walk down the street, call you, by your name and keep going. But he said when he moved up here, it was a lot more covert, and he would be sitting in meetings with people that would smile in his face and stab him behind the back. So, what do you prefer?
I prefer. That's a really good question. I'm really answering them. That's why
I prefer peace and love, personally.
I do too, but I think I want them to. I want to see it. I don't think I want to be tricked into it. I want it to be overt, so I can be, because I think my feelings would be hurt if I think we're friends, and then I find out you use tiki torches for more than your barbecue Saturday. You know what I'm saying? So anyway. That's news. We're gonna come back. We're gonna lighten this thing up some. I'm gonna try to get myself together a little bit. This is the problem. I didn't have a drink today, and that's why I'm just really drinking water. That may be part of the issue.
Do a little 36 Nation Sports and get right into we're just going to have them take over the show.
I've got to, yeah, exactly. Then we'll let the guests talk. So you want to do your sports now and then go to commercial?
You know what? Why not? We can, because it's only a minute.
Yep.
All right, let's do it.
36 Nation Sports in a minute.
Several men's college basketball teams touring Spain said they were safe in the aftermath of a van plowing into pedestrians near the team's hotel. 13 people were killed and 50 injured in what Barcelona police are treating as a terrorist attack. Clemson, Oregon State, Arizona, and Tulane are the 4 teams. Tonight's Clemson exhibition game has been canceled and they are headed home. The other teams will remain until Saturday. Last night, 4 WNBA teams showed support for the victims of the Charlottesville violence by locking arms at center court during the national anthem. The WNBA suspended anthem protocol, allowing the Washington Mystics and LA Sparks and the Minnesota Lynx and Seattle Storm to do this. All teams will be allowed to do this through August 25th. Finally, rookie hazing is tradition in the NFL, but 2 rookies in Tampa Bay got the shock of their lives when the bill came for them to pay for an offensive line dinner. $26,000.
Damn!
But don't worry, it was just a prank. The actual bill was $3,000. That's 36 Nation Sports in a minute. I'm SWP.
And I'm MDL, and we'll be right back.
Sean Parker here, and whenever I want some good food in nice-sized portions, not bird-sized food, but big boy portions, I look no further than the Crystal City Sports Pub. Now, if you just stayed on the original first story of the restaurant, you'd be more than happy with the pool tables and the aforementioned good food, but then they went and added a grand second story with, check this out, 6 37-inch LCDs, 2 8-foot projection screen TVs, and a 10-foot projection screen TV, and as a cherry on the top, a state-of-the-art sound booth. They're open 365 days a year, and they are waiting for you. The Crystal City Sports Pub, 529 23rd Street South in Arlington, Virginia. Call them at 703-521-8215 or visit them on the web at ccsportspub.com.
Come on, hustle. Get your head in the game. Come on.
Are you setting the right example for your kids?
Are you even trying? The ball's down there. What are you doing? You need to get some confidence.
Come on, hustle up, get up there.
Reviewing last year, ad revenue has declined 15%.
Come on, get your head on straight.
Before your child's next game, ask yourself, how would you like it if they copied your behavior?
There are many ways which we can improve.
That's for sure. You need to get some confidence.
Positive Coaching Alliance has valuable tips and tools to help our kids perform their best while keeping sports enjoyable for everyone. Their development zone is a great resource for parents like us. Positive Coaching Alliance, creating better athletes, better people. Learn more at positivecoach.org/Fox Sports.
It's about respect. Respect for our teammates, respect for our fans, and respect for our game.
It doesn't matter who you are or where you're from. On this team, we're a family.
Racist, sexist, and homophobic language have no place on our team.
We pledge to make our locker room a safe place for everyone.
No matter your race, religion, or whether you are straight or gay, if you can play, you can play.
Community Spotlight.
You got her, Jacob?
All right, so that music means that it is our Community Spotlight segment, and our fearless leader, Monica Livingston, will do the introduction.
All right. Thank you. Fearless leader. Oh,
Yes.
so kind. You're just being super nice to me because you know I'm angry today. We are going to be joined by Dr. Melissa, and I'm going to ask Melissa when she gets online to correct me if I pronounce this wrong. I'm going to go with Womble. She is a fellowship-trained neuropsychologist with specialization in sport and concussion management. I had the privilege of meeting her when I was doing a Positive Coaching Alliance workshop at Inova Sports Medicine in Arlington, and she did a concussion workshop prior to that. And so, you know, being a former women's professional tackle football player with the DC Divas, I was all ears listening and now have some explanation of some of the things that are wrong with me. So I'm going to let, since we're running a little bit behind time, I'm going to let
Besides
Melissa.
what we already know?
Already know,
Okay.
right. Besides what you already know. Melissa, are you there?
I'm there. Thank you for having me.
Okay. We lost you for a second. Is that better? One more time. Melissa, are you there? Okay. We're having some technical difficulties here. One more time. Okay. I can hear you on my speaker, but we cannot hear you in studio yet. Let's see. We're going to figure out what's going on here. Our engineer's looking into it. How about this? I'm going to disconnect and call you right back on this number and see if just another connection does something. No?
Okay, that sounds good.
All right.
She already hung up, Jacob, so that's
All right, so while she's doing that, I'm going to see if I can slide this in real quick, because I was talking to you a little bit earlier about the
Are we set, Jacob? I don't want her just sitting there.
the
Okay,
lar- about the largest cruise ship in the world.
Okay.
Well, was the largest cruise ship in the world, the Oasis of the Seas. And I was watching a documentary on it, and it's amazing how much food they consume in 1 week on that ship. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, I've been on a cruise ship, and it's crazy. All I did was eat. Hold on 1 second.
And we are
We're gonna be
again
back.
trying to hook this up.
She's got a patient she's got to see, so we're only gonna have a little bit of time with her. I'm gonna call back now.
All right, we're going to
said
see
okay.
the inner workings of a radio show.
I mean, this is
This
perfection
behind the
right here.
scenes
This
on
how we do
36
stuff.
Nation Radio. And the key is
All right, I think I got on the phone. Melissa, are you there?
the key is no dead air.
Hear me?
Okay, now I can hear you.
There we go.
Okay.
Hello, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Ah, finally.
Thank you for joining us,
yes,
Melissa.
you missed all the nice things I said about you earlier. So we'll just get right into it. So you are a concussion expert. And so, you know, being a retired now, women's professional tackle football player. When we initially met, I told you that I'd played with the Divas, and Chris is familiar with the Divas, and so that was kind of how I was there the day that you did the workshop. And I just wanted to just have you on because I think it's so important, especially everything that's going on right now with CTE. And as we start a new football season, especially for young people, I just wanted to be, Sean and I wanted to be a part of getting information out to especially parents and young athletic directors and coaches in terms of signs and symptoms for concussion. So the floor is yours, and please educate us.
Right. So concussion, I think the important thing for people to know is concussion can be caused by a direct blow to the head, but also indirect blows secondary to being hit on the body as long as the force is transmitted to the head. So a lot of times I'll have parents come in, but they don't understand why their kid could have gotten a concussion by just a blow to the body. So that's the first important point. In terms of signs and symptoms, concussion signs include a lot of things. It could be loss of consciousness or disorientation, confusion, those type of things. But oftentimes, most concussions actually do not involve a loss of consciousness. So concussion can occur without a loss of consciousness. And that is one of the myths that sometimes people do not understand. Some other concussion signs can be slow to get up, motor incoordination, a blank or vacant look, disorientation. But again, most concussions are diagnosed based on symptoms, not signs. So what we know about symptoms is the most common symptom, especially in youth athletes, is headaches following concussion.
Okay.
We can also see dizziness, difficulty concentrating, fatigue, light sensitivity, balance problems, difficulty with memory. But again, headache is the number one symptom, and I would say that's one of the most common immediately. But dizziness is also something that we've researched, and if on-field dizziness is present, that definitely can lead to a prolonged recovery. So that's when parents and coaches need to be especially concerned and make sure that that athlete gets to someone who understands concussion and can provide a comprehensive evaluation and any treatment that might be required.
Okay.
Is there a big mistake that people that have concussions and the people that are around them make, not on the field or when they're around the team, but when they are away from the team setting, when they're at home, when they're out in the community? Is there something that people post concussion do that's just like a no-no, or something that they need to stop doing?
The biggest thing that has changed in concussion management is really going from strict rest, what you hear of people going to dark rooms after concussion, to more what we call regulation. So we've actually, in the past 2 to 3 years, there's been a few studies now that have looked at athletes that engage in strict rest versus more getting back to some of life activities. So that's the biggest thing I see, is a lot of people still believe in the strict rest and they follow that immediately. If they hear concussion, that's their go-to. But what I would recommend, and what I always recommend to my patients, is following a regulated schedule. So when I say that, what I'm referring to is getting regulated sleep. You don't need to oversleep after that initial 24 or 48 hours. Eating regular meals is really important. So especially in our adolescents, a lot of them skip breakfast. So that's a big emphasis point. Staying well hydrated, even if you're an athlete that's not concussed, staying well hydrated is important. So we talk about that every day, and the rule of thumb there is half your body weight in ounces at least per day. And then getting some light physical activity is actually something that we want following concussion. No one with a concussion can't go for a walk or ride a stationary bike. So it's getting some of that activity in can actually speed up the recovery from concussion.
Wow, I'm learning a ton here. Let me ask you, doctor, what about recovery time, especially for a young athlete? They always want to get back on the field. What is what is the recovery time? A week, 2 weeks, or does it just depend?
It really depends, and it really depends on the type of concussion that is involved. So, at this point, we do not view all concussions as the same. There's actually different types of concussions that we see. And so it really depends on the type or types of concussions that we're seeing in an athlete. But what we know from research is the typical recovery from concussion, especially in our youth athletes, is 3 to 4 weeks. So that's a little different than what most people think of the 7 to 14 days.
Right.
And, that sometimes creates worry among athletes and parents when they are getting to that 7-day mark and they're still having symptoms. But we have done studies that show that 3 to 4 weeks is the average recovery from concussion when you're looking at it comprehensively for symptoms, cognitive abilities, and then also vestibular and ocular motor functioning.
Okay. Well, let me ask you just one other question. I know you are extremely busy. Are we ever going to have a helmet? And I don't want to be so sports specific, but I'm a huge football fan. Are we ever going to have a helmet that can protect an athlete fully? And that's the first part of the question. And second part of the question is, what would you tell a parent that is struggling with whether or not their child should engage in tackle football?
To the first question about helmets, in my professional opinion, I do not think we're ever going to have a helmet that's good enough to protect against concussion. Could there be one that helps to some level? perhaps. But the idea that you have to think about is if you get a concussion and your brain moves inside the skull quicker than it should, a concussion is possible. And a helmet can't protect that process from happening. A helmet is very important for any of the contact sports, but again, if you get hit hard enough, a concussion is going to occur. And that's something that a lot of people do not understand. And I get the question every day, should I buy, the most expensive helmet that is out there?
Right.
But that's a very common misconception, is that helmets can completely protect you against concussion, because that's not true. And it's going to be a long time before we get to that point, and based on everything that I am seeing. And to the next point, if I had a son or daughter that wanted to play football, would I let them play football? Yes.
Okay.
But I think the big important point for parents is making sure their kid understands and learns proper form. That's a big thing. Making sure that they have helmets that fit. Making sure that they're staying well hydrated and eating regular meals. We see a lot of concussions during two-a-days. So my clinic's been flooded the last 2 weeks when these athletes are getting back into play. So it's things outside of, just the sport that also matter, because there is a big relationship between migraine and concussion as well. So if you're dysregulated, you're a little more vulnerable for concussion too.
I love also that you said if you had a son or a daughter. That's right. Power to the girls. Yes. We play too.
My husband's a big hockey fan, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you already know. Right. Now, in terms of CTE, and I don't know, how much we can go into this, but I know there's not a way to diagnose it yet. How far away are we from that, do you think?
We're years and years from being able to diagnose it.
Okay.
So we know very little about CTE. What we know is that there is a a marker for it in the brain. What we do not know is if that marker is causing the symptoms that have been claimed to be associated with CTE. And honestly, that is going to take years of longitudinal-based studies with people who are and are not presenting with the symptoms in order to do a well-controlled trial. And right now, what we have is the brains of individuals who were experiencing symptoms. Which may or may not have been related to CTE. And so that, unfortunately, leads us to know very little at this time.
Yeah. Hopefully you'll get more people to come forward. There's a stigma with athletes. We don't like to be out of control. We don't like to be, tell people any of our weaknesses or perceived weaknesses, because, mental health and depression is not an actual weakness. And so I think that would be some of what's holding up getting real, research done on people that are actually still here, because they don't want to come to the forefront and say, I'm suffering with this. When Tony Dorsett I grew up watching Tony Dorsett and patterned a lot of my running after Tony and Walter Payton. I was shocked that, he had CT, but I thought, again, Tony Dorsett being a stand-up guy, at least coming to the forefront so that he can help other people. So I applaud him and the work that you're doing. And hopefully we can get an answer quicker than later, because a lot of people suffering.
Yeah, and I think the important thing for parents to know is we've also made a lot of changes in terms of how we look at and manage and treat concussion. So 2 to 3 years ago, if your son or daughter had had a concussion, they would have been put in that dark room I talked about. And now if you come to my clinic after having a concussion, I'm getting you more active. I'm getting you engaged back in physical activity. We have vestibular therapy and vision therapy if we need to. So there's also a lot of differences, even in the past 2 to 3 years, in terms of how we look at and manage this injury based on the research that we've done. So even, as we talk about these older athletes that are being diagnosed with CTE, there is a lot of differences in how that athlete was managed versus today. So that's something, again, for parents to have some, some relief with, is that there are physicians out there that know how to look at this and get people better from concussion quicker.
Cool. Dr. Melissa, where can people get information on concussions, educate themselves more on concussions, concussion symptoms, and just overall health?
Our our website is a great resource, and that's inova.org/sportsmedicine. We have a lot of the information I've been talking about on there, as well as, this treatment model has really come out of University of Pittsburgh Medical Center. That's where I trained. And so that website is rethinkconcussions.com as well. But again, the other way to also get information is we do baseline testing with youth athletes as part of our concussion program. And certainly during why children are testing, we also educate parents, and that's part of our program. And we have parents education videos as well as coaches and athlete education videos that we put together to help them understand what to do if a concussion were to occur and how to recognize an injury. So if they wanted more information on that, our concussion hotline is 703-970-6427.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Doctor, for being with us today. Thank you for the work that you're doing. I feel better. I thought I was going to have to say bye to football, but you're making me feel a little more confident now that it's gonna be here to stay. And so I appreciate it and all the work that you're doing, and especially with our young people and the time that you took today. You don't know, Sean, she's real famous. I mean, she'd be on real radio shows and everything. So the time.
Well, I'd like to think we got a real radio show and we got her today. So
yeah, we did.
Thank you so much. Once again, that's inova.org/sportsmedicine for more information on concussions and the concussion hotline, 703-970-6427. Dr. Melissa Womble, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Melissa. Have a good day now.
Okay, thank
Take
you.
care.
Bye.
Alrighty.
All right, we're going to go to a commercial break. We're going
Yes.
to come back. We'll have Ivan Inspired, and then we will talk to Tim Zello.
Tim Zello's coming up.
36 Nation Radio.
It's Sean Parker here, and whenever I want some good food in nice-sized portions, not bird-sized food, but big boy portions, I look no further than the Crystal City Sports Pub. Now, if you just stayed on the original first story of the restaurant, you'd be more than happy with the pool tables and the aforementioned good food, but then they went and added a grand second story with, check this out, 6 37-inch LCDs, 2 8-foot projection screen TVs, and a 10-foot projection screen TV, and as a cherry on the top, a state-of-the-art sound booth. They're open 365 days a year, and they are waiting for you. The Crystal City Sports Pub, 529 23rd Street South in Arlington, Virginia. Call them at 703-521-8215 or visit them on the web at ccsportspub.com.
Come on, come on.
This is the most talked about segment on 36 Nation Radio. The man, the myth, the legend that is Ivan Woner has rejoined us for another installment of Ivan Inspired. How you doing?
I'm very glad to be
What's
here.
going on, Ivan?
I have had it quite a week. I've actually been teaching a seminar called How to Engage with Your Political Enemies.
Oh.
And
sounds like I need to take that course.
That's a timely.
Where's registration?
It is, and I've been working with this group out in Oklahoma, and so I do a webinar once a week, and it goes for about an hour and a half, and every week more and more people show up. They say apparently this is something that's useful.
Do you
right
think?
now.
Okay.
I'm not surprised, Ivan. All right, let's get your
All
minute
right.
Are you ready
rant.
for this?
So,
2 minute
as
rant.
always, Ivan, are you ready?
I am ready.
2 minutes on the clock. Ready? Go.
I am going to say what is on everybody's mind. The time for feeling outrage is over. The time for posting your disgust on Facebook is over. Now is the time for action. But before you act, let me say this. You have two options. You can react or you can respond. If you react, you will destroy our nation. If you respond, you will save it. The riots in Baltimore, that was a reaction. The Montgomery bus boycotts, that was a response. The march in Washington, that was a response. These calls for violence, this call for vengeance, that's a reaction. My friends, the stakes are too high to mess this up. Reactions are not thought through. Reactions don't have a goal. Reactions exist to make you feel better, as if your feelings are what's matter. It would feel good to unleash some vengeance, but that would destroy our nation. It would feel good to strip away the constitutional rights of the people who disgust you, but that would destroy our nation. If you want to win, you must be intelligent. You must be controlled. Your actions must work towards a goal. Your ego has no place here. Your feelings have no place here. Your fear has no place here. You have a choice. React and lose. Act. Respond, and you will win.
Oh, that should get you through the week. That's
That
Ivan
was
Rant
stone
right
cold
there.
Ivan Warner right there.
Studio audience, put your hands together for Ivan. We got 3 people in the studio today. Yay!
We thicken that up a little bit.
All right.
Ivan, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome.
All right. Well,
It's time. We're
Next up-
so behind schedule here
that's
today.
all right. We're giving it. We're going to give Mr. Zello the rest of the time.
I'm just gonna get Tim Zello on the line now. Tim, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Can we get a good volume on Tim there, Jacob?
what?
Okay.
You know what?
You read that.
I'll read the
You
intro
read
because
that.
you and Tim are going to have this dialogue. Tim Zello is an ordained Assemblies of God minister who has traveled to more than 55 nations, helping train leaders around the world how to run successful residential drug rehabilitation and discipleship programs. In 2005, he and his wife Michelle founded Jewels for God International, a 501c3 organization that has taught women. That teaches women rescued from human trafficking how to make handcrafted jewelry. Tim has written several books, one a biography of being the first foreigner to enter 9 prisons in Siberia after the fall of communism, and the other 2 on wisdom and pride. He's also a successful businessman, a general contractor, giving substantial amount of his profit for business to a home in India that rescues children from the brothels. He's faithfully married, and I like that, faithfully married to his wife Michelle of 23 years, and has 2 lovely children, Rachel and Luke. Tim, thank you so much for joining us here on 36 Nation today.
My pleasure.
So, that was the bio. That's Tim's bio. To me, Tim is my friend I went to high school with, the second best basketball player in our high school.
Who would be the best?
Come on now, you already know. 36 Nation, baby.
The best male player. You're the best female player.
Oh, thank you, Tim. Thank you, Tim. And he's a white boy that can shoot.
All right.
Like bottom of the
and
net.
jump.
And jump. It's been a while. Can you still get up?
5'9", 47 years old, 46 years old, and I can still grab rim.
Okay, you're doing it then. So
Dang,
I
God,
appreciate
older than me, and I can't grab the rim. I can
that's-
barely grab the net, but that's all right.
I can get the bottom of the net still.
There you go.
I'm gonna work on that now.
But Tim, we as much as we would love to talk basketball, we did not bring you on for basketball, but we're going to talk a little politics here.
Yeah. So Tim and I are friends. We've known each other since high school. We graduated in '89, and we are both Christians. We went to, as I've said before, Camp Springs Christian High School. Shout out to the Victors. Whoop whoop. And we have very different opinions on many different things. But today, I just want to keep it simple because I see this could develop into a segment where we have Tim on, not every week because I would pull my hair out because he literally drives me crazy sometimes, but maybe once a month. I don't know. But the statues are what we're going to talk about today, and a little bit about his president, Donald Trump, his reaction to Charlottesville.
In a concentrated 5 minutes.
Right, yeah, because that's all we really have, and I can't borrow any time we may have to finish it next week. But Tim, respond to Charlottesville, respond to how you're still feeling about a guy that you helped put in office, and respond, especially as a white American. A lot of people are feeling it's racism and like America doesn't have minorities' backs. And so I'm giving you an opportunity here to do some of what your president didn't do and talk to me about those raggedy statues that need to be moved. And go.
Sure. I think that the word that I would describe what happened in Charlottesville, honestly, is grievous. That's the word that comes to my heart and my mind. Matter of fact, the next I couldn't even hardly sleep that night. I did get a few hours, but I woke up at 4 a.m. the following morning just praying. And there's, as with everything, I try to see. I'm a glass half full guy, so I try to see the good in everything. And despite the tragedy, despite everything that happened there, this is the good thing that has happened in regards to race relations. Is I think a lot of people on both sides are ignorant of our history. Most people don't realize that George Washington, had slaves. Most people don't realize that Thomas Jefferson had slaves. Those things are coming to the forefront. So people are realizing, hey, wait a minute, wow, our country really, from its origin, I mean, we were conquered. I mean, we were conquering, the people. That's basically how America came to being. And so, with that being said, that's a long time ago. I saw somebody on social media yesterday say something really interesting, and it wasn't a white person; it was a black person. He basically said this. He said, "Have any of you ever been a slave in your lifetime? And have any of you ever owned slaves in your lifetime?" And of course, the answer is no. So for many of us, it's so far removed that it's interesting. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the Antifa. These white people are absolutely lunatic. I mean, they're crazy. I was telling you, Monica, earlier when we were talking,
right,
that it reminded me of an episode of Locked Up.
Right.
I mean, these people, it really did. Because when you go to prison, anybody who knows about prison, I know just not because I've been inside on the Locked Up end, but in ministering. And there's so much racial, tension and things that go on. And mostly it's for survival in prison. I mean, unfortunately, they're caged up, and so the police really don't do anything. But it was a scene like that. It's like, are you kidding me? You're free and you're out here doing this crazy stuff. What's the matter with you people?
Right.
You have nothing to fear. Nothing. I mean, and then it's interesting, too, because I spontaneously took my son to Virginia Beach the night before last and booked a hotel in Hotwire, and just because he's going to school next week. And so I want to spend a Father-Son day. And here I'm at Virginia Beach, the day after this stuff happens, right? And I'm looking around me, man, and there's people from every culture, every walk of life, black, white, everybody getting along, just going off their normal day. But you always have a few psychos in society, a few crazy people, And I think that the shame thing about it, the thing that really disgusts me, is how the media takes a few. I mean, you can figure out all the millions of people in America. What, 356 million, I think.
Yeah.
And they only managed to get a.
Tim, we got 3 minutes. We got 3 minutes. It's my fault that we only have 3 minutes. I'm going to try to have you back on next week. But you sound a little bit like your president right now. I asked you a question, and you talking about the beach and the sun and the trip and all that.
That's because what I'm telling you is what's relevant and what's more relevant.
What do you think of your president's reaction when he came to the podium about Charlottesville? What he said, why it took him so long, how did it make you feel?
Honestly, his reaction was my initial reaction, and that's the truth. Because the media has a tendency to make always look like it's one side. And so I basically, my reaction was the same thing. One is, honestly, you know who's to blame? The people in the city of Charlottesville who gave 2 permits to people who are diabolically opposite to each other to set up a fight. That was just plain foolish and stupid. The Bible says a soft answer turns away wrath. Martin Luther King said hate does not drive out hate. So you put 2 hateful groups diabolically opposite to each other. And when I say hateful, I'm talking about Antifa now, because they do use violence. Okay, and we're not. So I'm speaking specifically of them. Right, Antifa, and then the white crazy people. They're nuts. I mean, I listened to one guy who organized it. That dude is just straight. I mean, evil. That's the only word I can describe. Just demonic. It disgusts me to my core. So my reaction, to the president was, and you know what, his reaction was actually similar to how Obama's would have been. But Obama would have said, let's wait and see. On most occasions, he said, let's wait and see really what took place, what transpired. And the governor got on immediately, started saying they found cakes of weapons, and the police, came back and said, no, we didn't. I mean, so you have to, when things like this, you really have to look at all sides and say, okay, what led to this? I mean, what led to the point to where it was? They never should have issued the permits in the first place, and they really shouldn't have. And that's part of the problem.
Okay, and Tim, that is a good place for us to break. We're going to stop right there.
We gotta pick
but
this
we
up
would
next
love
week.
to have you back if you can come back next Thursday.
I'd like to have you in studio.
And
Where are
finish
you?
this
Fredericksburg?
conversation.
What y'all doing in
I'm
Fredericksburg?
so busy. I can't
Know
be
what
coming
y'all
all the way up
doing in
there, girl.
Fredericksburg?
All right, well, that's okay. Hey, dude, that's why we got the phone lines, and hopefully we can get you to call back in and finish this because this is a very important topic that we need to discuss. So,
Yeah.
thank you so much, Tim, for joining
You're
us
welcome.
today.
I'll call you when I get in the car, Tim. Okay.
Sounds
All right.
good.
Thank
sounds
you
good.
so much.
All right,
Thank you so
that's
much.
everybody.
For Monica Livingston, Sean Parker, 36 Nation Radio. I don't know what they're about to do on Thursday Night Tea.
I'm
I
mad.
see wine and chips and chocolate covered strawberries and nuts. I mean,
it is
I
Thursday
almost
night
want to
tea,
stay.
child.
You know, I might stick around, see if I can get a little nibble
It might
or
not
something.
be. You be careful, Sean. Be careful about the nibble.
And on that note, 36 Nation Radio, we will be back. No, Monica will be back
That's
next
right.
Thursday. I'll be over at GW doing games and
Yes,
whatnot.
I'm
But
solo
she'll fly solo,
next
but
week.
I will call in. I will be part of the show. I love you, and I will see you when I see you.
Love you too, brother.
All
Peace
right.
and hair grease, everybody.
36 Nation Radio.
Out.